Aaron Artemas joins us next. He is the Publicity Secretary of the APC in Taraba State. Good morning. Thank you for coming on today.
Thank you very much for having me.
Well, clearly, all eyes, particularly those of your party, will be focusing on today, tomorrow, possibly the day after, given what is expected to happen, the emergence of the presidential candidate of your party. And there's been several negotiations, horse trading, which we'll imagine will go until the last minute. So from your perspective, in consideration of all that you've seen, several meetings, where do you see this headed?
Well, generally speaking, of course, we already are hearing news and permutation is heading south. That's number one. Since it's heading south, now the focus now to narrow it to which particular person.
You're sure it's heading south?
Well, of course, most of the stakeholders have decided that it should head south. The governors have decided. Most Nigerians are speaking. The northerners are also saying that there should be fairness. So if it's a rotation between the north and the south, it should go south. So it is heading south. So where in south in particular is now the issue. Of course, there are some candidates to the south, south-south and the southwest. But of course, the initial journey started with a lot of weight from the southwest. Of course, the mergers between the ACM, which is the biggest margin party at that time, with 5 governors and others. Of course, also the south-south and the southeast, they were also in the mix. But then most people tend to look at southwest as the most formidable rotational point.
But haven't also seen those different groups, the meetings that they've held, depending on what they eventually agree. Yes, we've heard the president and read his speech as well in terms of what he expects of the people. Sure. Could you break it down for us to be a little more specific? When he seeks support of the people to help him at least take that next step, what specifically is he asking for?
Well, you see, the president, as everybody knows, is a nationalist. He loves this country. He wants peace. He wants a peaceful transition. He wants Nigerians to speak as Nigerians, not based on where they come from. And that's why all his concern is that there should be a transition in such a manner that will be satisfactory.
Yeah, and I understand that. Is he saying, look, I have a candidate that I prefer.
Yeah.
So I want you all, stakeholders, delegates, maybe starting from immediate stakeholders, probably governors, and then convince your people that, look, this is who I want. I'd like you all to queue up behind this person. Is that the kind of thing he's talking about?
Well, the president has not made his position known.
Yeah, I'm asking, when he says he wants support, is that the kind of support?
It's the kind of support. He expects Nigerians to be very matured in their choice of what they want to do. That is what he wants. Because as president, of course, he's for everybody. So now it's left for Nigerians to look at themselves and see what is the most everything. Yes, of course. Sure. What is it?
So Nigerians.
Nigerians, of course, and APC in particular. All right? Now, so the president wants the APC members to be very, very matured in their choice. Of course, he will not say who he wants, but those who have stayed or worked closely with him should be able to understand his body language.
He won't say who he wants to, who? Those who are watching, or to the key people in the party?
He has not narrowed himself to any particular candidate. But those who work with him, he should not. He should not. He trusts Nigerians, especially senior members of the party, to decide the best way forward. And so he will not tell them. But those who have worked with him already know his body language. They should know the kind of person that he should want and Nigerians should want. So that is just it.
Why does it seem that there is, why is there always so much talk around what the president wants, who the president is deciding upon? Some people say it's a democracy. Shouldn't it be as open as what we saw in the PDP?
Well, sure. APC is also open. Like I said earlier, the president has not made any particular choice. That's number one. And you understand there's a lot of rancor in our politics in Nigeria.
I mean, he wants to.
He wants to make a choice? No, the president only steps in when there appears to be some kind of rancor. People are not agreeing to cooperate in such a manner that everything will be done in a hassle-free manner. So that's why he's there as a leader. When people are not agreeing immediately on certain things, and that could create some kind of chaotic situation. He will step in as a leader to say, hey, 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 take it easy, take it easy. Now, I want you to now reason and see the best way forward. That is his role as a leader. Of course, he's not expected to make a choice of who he wants, because as a Nigerian, it is the choice of Nigerians who they want to rule the country. So one person, he does not decide for Nigeria. He's been quite democratic enough. But it is when there's so much rancor and hassles that he comes in to try to sanitize the situation or the movement itself. So that is the reason why he talks at some point.
Yes. You know, I'm actually looking for the president's last statement, because it doesn't seem to support the statement that you have made when he spoke to the governors, when he met with APC governors recently, just last week. Yeah. He did say something about reciprocity, that he has been there was an internal policy of the party which allowed governors who had only done the first term to pick up their return tickets for another tenure, and for those who were leaving as governors to promote successors. And it was saying that the president was asking them to allow him do same.
Okay.
Did you read that statement?
So you are now trying to say that perhaps
I'm not the one trying to say. I'm saying that the stance which you're taking about him not wanting to pick a successor seems to negate what the president himself has said.
I thought you are trying to interpret what the president is saying in that statement. You are trying to interpret, but he does not really mean that. All he is concerned about is a peaceful...
It doesn't mean what he says?
No, he is concerned about peaceful transition. You know that for the past 1 year, there have been a lot of arguments for and all those coming out, even in the north, even when it is assumed that all Nigerians know that naturally there should be a zoning policy in the country. Nigerians already know about that. But still, there are some people who emboldened themselves to come out in the north and contest for the presidency. But of course, some people have reasons why they want to contest, and it is not really perhaps maybe because they want to win election. Maybe they want to be in the new policy of the incoming government or something, and they try to create some opportunities for themselves going forward. But then the issue is that the president wants a peaceful transition, and he wants the best, and that is all.
He said as much. I mean, he was very clear in terms of what he said. I mean, the statement is right here now. He was very clear in terms of what he said. Yes, he wants the transition to be orderly. Those were his words.
Sure.
He also said, number 10, it says, in keeping with established internal policies of the party, and as we approach the convention in a few days, I wish to solicit the reciprocity and support of the governors and other stakeholders in picking my successor, who would fly the flag of our party for election into the office of the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria in 2023.
But you know, the presidency has also issued a statement after this to indicate that the president had not made any particular choice about it.
Yes.
Of course, if you were president yourself, maybe you could have sympathy for those you are working with, but also he realizes that as president of Nigeria, the choice belongs to the people.
Indeed.
He cannot impose it.
If we are to go by what we have already seen the president do before, I mean, at the APC convention, the party convention which saw the emergence of the current party chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, we knew it was not until the very last minute that the president's choice was confirmed in the person of Mr. Abdullahi Adamu. Isn't that, or Senator Abdullahi Adamu? Isn't that correct?
Sure.
So isn't that what we should be expecting? Because some people have also pointed at your dates. The fact that the convention, the primaries which you're holding to select your presidential candidate, has come so close to when INEC's deadline for the submission of the names of candidates for the 2023 elections is. I mean, I think it's just the following day. And you have left no room for negotiations or for any kind of maneuvering, so to speak. Isn't that in itself very strategic?
Well, I don't totally agree with you, because I was in Almakura's campaign at that time. I knew also about 6 other people who were gunning for national chairman APC of that time. There wasn't any sign of agreement amongst those 6 people at that time. And it was going to cause a lot of division within the party itself, because when people are very strong on their opinions, they don't want to give in, they don't want to negotiate, and others. It only only gives room for the president now to separate the people who are in this. So if the president came at that time, because there were a lot of issues in the media on the party itself, not being united, not organizing themselves. And it was going to create the kind of rancor that would divide Nigerians all along. So if he steps in at that point, there was nothing wrong with it.
Mr. Timbers,
yes.
Who would you like to see emerge?
Emerge? Well, of course, there are senior members of this party. Already, you know that Tinubu should be in the forefront as one of the leaders of the party in the Southwest. I'm not making it, I'm just analyzing as a member of this party because he is, what do I call him? I call him a leadership coach, somebody who has brought people along, who has mentored a lot of people, and who has selected very, very responsible, educated Nigerians to lead this country.
Let's bring in our colleagues from Lagos. They've got questions for you as well.
Sure.
Yes, good morning, sir. As a follow-up, a very quick follow-up to Marquez's question. Yes, the president has said a lot of things. He said to consider party unity, build consensus in this latest meeting with the governors. But he didn't quite say much to corroborate the position of northern governors that the candidacy should not be zoned to the south. Is that something to be worried about? And does it mean, according to Marquez's suggestion, that he may pull a surprise during the party convention?
Well, there was never any single agreement by governors in the north that presidents should not move to the south. I think majority of them. In a house where you have more than 5, 10 people, if about 4 or 7 agree that the president should move to the south, I think it becomes majority view and the view of northern governors. To my understanding and what I have followed in the politics of recent, I agree and I've come to confirm the fact really that most northern governors are opposed to the movement of the president to the south. And I think most of them are very mature, they are reasonable, they know how this journey started, and they know that having accepted the presidency coming to the north in 8 years, they should also agree naturally that it should move. It is fairness, the game of fairness. So most or majority of governors in the north, we're going to say everybody must agree, but most of them, 90% of them agree that the presidency should go to the south. And it is in the south as I speak to you. So the only thing is that for the south to put their acts together and produce a candidate that will be acceptable to all Nigerians. And we're good to go.
Well, still talking about percentages, you heard Chief Oyegun say after the screening committee completed their work, he said about 99% of those spoken to agree that they will go with any choice of the party except one person. So, and he also mentioned on tape that they have screened the numbers down to 13, suggesting perhaps that 10 have been taken out and only 13 remains. There is still, that's still a little fuzzy, given that the party said that no one has been disqualified. Do you see a consensus candidate in play, or you see a contest among the candidates, since they seem not to have agreed to the consensus building the president asked for?
Nigerians want consensus, but you know, every candidate has his own people who are sponsoring him to that position. It depends on what the candidates want. But the issue is that, the struggle for power in Nigeria could be very intense at most times. Most people insist by all means that they must be in power. But naturally, we shouldn't be at this level. We shouldn't be having more than 7, 8, or 13 people contesting for presidency. This should come naturally, to my opinion, because now if you agree that the next president should come from South, and then Nigerians are supposed to, on their own, reason which particular part of this country should produce this president based on their contribution to the polity of the APC. and then allow that part to emerge.
Right.
But we know that this is democracy. Everybody has the right to contest the presidency. But of course, we should also rely on our reasoning of what we want as Nigerians. We should not be having up to this number of people contesting for presidency.
Well, it's a democracy, as you say, but there must be winners and losers.
Yes.
What do you see happening if former governor of Lagos, Asiwaju Tinubu, doesn't get the ticket?
Well, I don't want to assume that he will not get the ticket, but he is the most matured person.
What do you see happening if he doesn't?
Well, I believe that as the leader of this party belongs to him.
Really?
He is the leader of this party, and the reason why I said so, he has contributed the highest to the formation of APC. And surely, I don't see Chief Tinubu destroying the structure that he has helped to put in place. So I believe that as a matured leader, he will accept in good faith. But of course, also, he deserves to be compensated for what he has done for APC and Nigeria. He has produced leaders.
Thank you very much indeed for coming on today. Mr. Atamas is the Publicity Secretary of the APC in Taraba State.